And moving on to a critical issue impacting both Pakistan and its expatriates in the Middle East. Recent warnings from countries like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait highlight growing concerns over the conduct and sheer numbers of the Pakistani workers abroad. From rising crime rates to ethical breaches in workplaces, the reputation of Pakistanis is under intense scrutiny. How is the Pakistani government responding to these challenges, and what does it mean for those seeking opportunities overseas? Our next report brings you all the details.
In the bustling streets of Islamabad, many young Pakistanis are filled with visions of a better future. For them, the Gulf has become a place where hard work could transform their lives. But recent developments have threatened to shatter these dreams. During a heated session of the Senate Standing Committee on Overseas Pakistanis, a grave disclosure was made. Gulf countries, including the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Kuwait, had raised serious concerns about Pakistani expatriates. The UAE, which had a quota of 1.6 million Pakistani workers, was now hosting 1.8 million. And alarmingly, Pakistanis were implicated in nearly half of the crimes in the UAE. The complaints from Gulf nations were diverse and disturbing. Many Pakistanis travelling under the guise of pilgrimage ended up begging in these countries. There were reports of Pakistani men making inappropriate videos of women in Dubai, nurses refusing to work in Kuwait, and labourers disregarding safety protocols in Qatar. The Pakistani government, in a bid to curb this trend, had already suspended the passports of 2,000 beggars and blacklisted them for 7 years. The crackdown was not just a reaction to demands made by Gulf countries, but also a response to a deeper issue at home. Pakistan's economic instability has driven a mass exodus of its youth. In 2022 alone, over 750,000 educated Pakistanis left the country, a staggering increase from the previous years. Among them were 92,000 highly skilled professionals like doctors, engineers and IT experts seeking opportunities in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. The migration patterns revealed by the Pakistan Institute of Development Economics painted a stark picture. Over the past 40 years, 8 million Pakistani workers had moved to the Middle East. Saudi Arabia and the UAE remained the primary destinations, with other oil-rich nations like Oman, Kuwait, Bahrain and Qatar also attracting Pakistani labour. But despite this, the concerns raised by Gulf nations couldn't be ignored. In response to this, the Pakistani government started collecting data on job availability and emerging professions in various countries. A cabinet committee led by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was established to tackle immigration issues. However, officials feared that Gulf countries might turn to even cheaper African labour, further jeopardizing the future of Pakistani expats. Compounding these issues, the economic desperation within Pakistanis was palpable. Pakistani beggars operating mainly in Saudi Arabia, Iran and Iraq had become a significant source of foreign exchange, albeit through illicit means. This practice not only tarnished Pakistan's image, but also fueled human trafficking concerns. The Secretary of the Overseas Ministry revealed that nearly 90% of beggars arrested abroad were of Pakistani origin, often exploiting pilgrim visas to travel and beg. While the average daily amount collected by beggars varies across cities, Karachi records the highest amount at 2,000 rupees, which is just a little over $7. Annually, Pakistani beggars extract $42 billion, which is more than 12% of Pakistan's GDP. And despite the government's effort to curb begging and promote alternative employment, the problem persists. With the road ahead fraught with challenges, aspirations of millions of Pakistanis are hung in the balance, intertwined with the country's struggle to restore its reputation and secure a stable economic future.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We
we go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment. So thank you for making First Post 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
We start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to First Post America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C.